Hey everyone, welcome to White Point Stories. My name is Cody. I am your host, and today with me we have Moi Moi from the Raw Men podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, and I'm super grateful for the invitation. That's really awesome of you.
So, how many? So, I know your podcast has been going on since 2023, but how many podcasts have you been on as a guest?
This is going to be my very first one
Yes.
ever.
Yes. I love taking all the first people. This is my first one. I mean, yes.
Heck
Uh,
yeah.
First, just how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Today's been a rather busy day, and overall just productive. Published a video today of an interview we did with the band, made a couple of clips, trying to research what's trending, what our audience is retaining, what they aren't, a lot of analytics, a lot of technical stuff. But yeah, how's your day going?
So far, good. I had a coffee with a friend, someone that is new to our church,
Oh,
and
okay.
so I met with him to kind of welcome him, and we had coffee together. So now I can say we're friends and brothers in
Yeah.
Christ. But I never really met him till today. But he's into like anime and video games, and so we got to talk about all about the nerdy things that I hardly ever get to talk to anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, so I wanted to talk to well, just welcome you, like share about your experience about starting a podcast, getting out to the social media like TikTok, Instagram, wherever else. You're mostly on TikTok, like streaming wise, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
I'm mostly on TikTok making that larger push. That's where we find, at least for now, the most engagement.
okay, that's awesome. I mean, that's where I found. No, we found each other on someone else's stream,
Yes, we did.
and
Yes, we
then
did.
we continued to find each other on other people's streams after
Yeah,
that. It's like
yeah.
what, three different interests, like three different streams. That I was like, I could just be like, hey,
And you're like, I see you. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's here.
uh, but we kind of grew. We started talking pretty quick, and we kind of
Mhm.
built a pretty quick relationship and friendship. And so I wanted to talk to you about pretty much your podcast. And
Mhm.
did that start before or after like you started doing your music with TikTok?
So the overall idea for the podcast emerged before I started live streaming on TikTok. When we were in the initial stages where we produced our first episode of the podcast, I found myself having the ability to go live on TikTok, and I decided, you know what? Not only should I push out the podcast, I should push out my own persona up online. And so they're about maybe a month apart, but yeah, really close in nature.
So talk to us about what Raw podcast is. Give it the name, the, the
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, so it's my best friend Eber and myself. We both work together, and we found ourselves constantly talking to each other. We just click. We both love technology. We love music. We talk about all things like politics, policies, weird fun facts, anything and everything. And it was really amazing to find somebody of that sort of like mind. Just never a dull moment. And then we kind of playfully threw around the idea of we should make a podcast. Now, he had been looking for somebody to make a podcast with already, and as had I. But on our separate journeys, we eventually found each other, and we decided, you know what, let's actually do it. We keep saying with other people, let's do it. Nothing comes to fruition. And with him and I, we finally just made a date, sat down in front of a camera, and just had our conversation. So our podcast surrounds very much around just the organic conversations that we have. Um, and we had that idea primarily when people would come over and listen to our conversations and say, "Wow, I don't even want to contribute anything. I just want to listen to you guys talk. This is pretty cool." We figured, why not in podcast form? Maybe there's people out there that could just, sit in as if like in a circle of friends and just hear two of your friends just kind of going back and forth, and just pull up a seat and feel comfortable. And that's been our goal from the very beginning, is to just be ourselves, just have the conversations that we already have, while also consistently evolving to cater a much more comfy environment for our listeners.
Yeah, what I love about the podcast of what I've listened to so far, it kind of has, and I mean this in the best compliment, kind of like the Seinfeld
Yeah,
type of podcast, where it's like
yeah,
it's a little bit of everything, but no like strong story point. But it's all about like it covers so much, and it's just a joy to like listen to you guys talk and have and converse. And again, I was explaining this before we started recording. I started at like episode one, so maybe in the later episodes it's more because you started interviewing like bands and things like that, right?
right. Yes.
So that might be a little bit more targeted and more focused later on. But I'm loving what I've been hearing so far.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. It genuinely, it means everything to us.
And I hope
Thank
you
you.
like Seinfeld so it doesn't come off as an insult because I mean it as a
No,
compliment.
I love Seinfeld. Kramer is my spirit animal.
Mhm.
Art Vandelay is my imaginary persona at times. Yeah, I love Seinfeld.
So from episode one, you guys started talking about Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
Do you still find his voice soothing?
Yeah, from time to time, so much so that we catered our intro. We used a voice generator to mimic Stephen Hawking's voice when you hear "Welcome to the Ramen Podcast," and we figured we'd just carry that joke until the rest of our days on this podcast. So yeah, it's still very soothing.
That is amazing. So how did you guys come up with?
So we were sitting down in the studio after around the time that we were going to record our first episode. And we were just wondering, like, okay, what is it that we're going to do? And it was very, very straightforward. We're just going to be ourselves. We're going to be raw. And we wanted our title to kind of convey that genuine, honest rawness. And I had a little bit of a play on words. We both love the Japanese culture. We both really enjoy anime. We both love ramen. And I kind of just played around with it. And I said, what if we just called ourselves something with like Raw, the Raw podcast, or ramen, because it sounds like the noodles, And we both clicked on that and we said, you know what? We are the raw men. We are the raw ones, just being ourselves. And yeah, that's how that came about.
Oh, and I really appreciate that it's called the ramen. It's just to play the word ramen. But you have a donut as your image.
Yeah.
You just
The
keep it
reason
real and everyone on their toes.
So we get a lot of comments on our logo. They're like, it's the ramen podcast, but you have a donut. So we didn't have anything for background, like lights or anything. In our very first episode, and for the next couple that you'll be seeing, we only have an LED light of a donut. That's his daughter's, and we decided to borrow it to kind of not have just this blank wall behind us. And people already questioned us. They're like, why is a donut LED there? Where's like a noodle one? We couldn't afford it at the time. So we decided to just play around with that logo idea and kind of pay homage to where we're starting, the ramen podcast, that LED light that captured people's attention. And yeah, that's how we move forward. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so going from just kind of like you guys and branching into like meeting up with local bands or smaller content creators, going and then going all the way to like conventions. Like, how did that come about?
So I was streaming at the time. We had done a couple of podcast episodes at this point, still trying to figure out how to make smaller clips, how to ignite engagement. And by then, in my personal TikTok live streams, I was asking smaller indie artists, unsigned artists to show me their music. I realized that there's a lot of people who don't play their music and all they want is to just simply be heard at least once. And I decided to cater that space to them. But I asked myself, how can I contribute more? Because I felt like I'm such a small streamer. There must be another platform that we can promote them on. And just simply making a TikTok or simply making a reel seems a little too difficult to make and to have it blow up. So instead, I brought this idea to my friend and I said, you know what if we just do these interviews and we kind of sprinkle them here and there so that people can get to know who these indie artists are. Chances are, if you see an indie artist on TikTok, it's them kind of playing their music in the background, not really getting to know them, but they're just like, hey, please come check me out. And instead, with us on the podcast, we already present well served on a platter this artist that we think that you should check out, and just allowing them a space to really express themselves and for people to get to know them further in depth.
What is your first guest?
If I remember correctly, it was Spencer Bandy. Spencer Bandy, if I'm correct, he's a folk music artist. And he was one of the first ones to say, "Hey, I'll hop on board to do this interview." I had messaged a couple of people, got a couple of yeses. He was one of the first, and he was also one of the first to say, "Hey, this concrete date works for me." And yeah, that's where we took off from. Yeah.
So, I love so like one of my favorite things about the TikTok community that I'm a part of is everyone's kind of just it's really tight knit and everyone's kind of supporting
Mm,
each other and
yeah.
wants to continue supporting other creators other than just themselves.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really awesome to see because I feel like you don't get to see that much on the internet anymore.
Right.
Um, I feel like that's hard. It's kind of like what Facebook used to be. Of like,
Hmm.
it's like my neighbors, like people I know, and like we support each other, we talk, we comment, and now it's just like kind of this ghost town of this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like all
Yeah.
Facebook is kind of the area where you're like, I just don't want to go down that street because I know what's down there and I don't like what I see.
Right.
But TikTok has kind of built a very kind of, for the most part, a healthy community, and
Hmm.
it's in my circle anyway. That's nice to have
Yeah.
around.
Oh, absolutely. Artists and creatives, supporting artists and creatives is so important and so pivotal. And forming these communities, I know that I've been a part of a lot of group chats, a lot of Discord groups of creatives and artists, and just doing my absolute best to be a contributing factor to everyone's success. From scrolling through my For You page and liking, saving, engaging, commenting genuinely, honestly, to maybe even DMing them and seeing if they would like to be interviewed by our podcast, in any way, shape, or form. Support is very, very important. We have to stick together in order to make big moves at this day and age.
What has been the hardest thing for you starting?
The hardest thing, um, that's an interesting question. Um, I think just in the last, I think it's over 2 years now that we've been podcasting. The most difficult thing is for me personally, and I only speak for me, is the continual understanding that we must evolve and change with the times. So, though I may like a certain style, or a certain series that we're doing, or certain ways that we are presenting and clipping together our shorts, our long form content, it doesn't always last. We have to cater to our audience. Though it may be my absolute favorite, and this is how I really like how videos should look, I need to continue to evolve, and it can be very difficult to let go of my baby, and adapt and learn and grow and accept that the time is come and gone, and that's okay.
Has there been a change that was very surprising that you had to change to that direction over like, the direction that you were originally going?
Well, for us, I never saw us going to, for example, like the Denver Fan Expo. We've gone to this year for the second time, and interviewed cosplayers and merchants as well, artists and creatives. I did not expect us to do that. We kind of Eber kind of came up with the idea, threw it out there and said we should go. I never thought we would actually be out and about. So that's one of the bigger changes that did take a lot for me mentally to adapt to. Not only like being, I apologize, not only being in front of the camera, I got used to that, but being in front of a camera in a public square with people watching, talking to people who just come up and down off the street or over in the convention center, that I never saw coming and was a very difficult thing to adapt to, but so much fun and so
Yeah.
worth it.
Is it pretty easy for you to go up to people? Be like, hey, can I ask you a few questions? Like, are are you more extroverted or more introverted?
I feel like I'm an extrovert, but my social battery does run out from time to time, and I then become an introvert, and I need that quiet time. So when we were out and about for the convention, I love meeting new people. I love seeing new smiley faces and getting to know people and giving them a chance to be in the spotlight for a little bit. At the end of the day, I'm so drained though that I just go to bed and I just pass right out. So now, as the more that I put it into practice, the more action that I take, it becomes easier. But there's still that little inkling of nervousness and shyness that kicks in. I just simply take a deep breath and go for it anyway.
And has there been an interview that starstruck and you've said, I can't believe I talked to this person?
Yes, 100%. I couldn't believe I'm a huge Toy Story fan. I love Buzz Lightyear. He's my absolute favorite hero, if you could call him a hero, but he's my favorite character of all time. I collect all things Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear. So when I was able to fly to Los Angeles, we were able to sit down with Emily Ricks, who voiced Bonnie in Toy Story 3. To be able, yeah, we did that, and we released that episode about 2 months ago now. We were able to sit down with her. We were able to talk to her and just messaging her back and forth to collaborate and ensure, that shorts are out there and that she's being properly tagged and just being courteous and thanking her. We gave her a free T-shirt. Um, that was amazing. And throughout the interview, I feel like you can tell on my face, at least I can. I'm just in awe, and it is very difficult for me to focus because all I can think of is this series that has been my absolute favorite since I was a child and I've grown up with. I get to speak to somebody who I never thought that I would be able to. And now they're here looking at us and giving us the opportunity to just sit down and chat.
I'm really into I got to meet one of my favorite photographers
Mhm.
ever. Um, like, I went to, he was in California. I went to his studio. It was like during COVID. And I was like, I'm just going to stop in, take a look around, maybe buy a photo book or something. Just like, I
Yeah.
was there. And the guy was like, do you want to meet him? I'm like, he's here? I thought he was in Iceland. He's always in Iceland. He's like, no, he's here. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I do. I want to meet him. But at that point, I was driving for like 16 hours. So I was just completely brain dead.
Oh,
Um, I'm hoping to get him on the podcast at some point. I don't
yes.
know if that'll ever happen, but it'd be awesome. But he started to sign the book, and he's like, and who's it for? I'm like, oh, just for me. And he's like, and who is me? I'm like, oh, Cody.
Like, oh wait, that's right. That's my name.
Sorry, I forgot we don't actually know each other. Um, With
Yeah.
back to the Toy Story part, though, did you hear that there's going to be a new Toy Story movie? And are you excited for it, or more just let it go?
I'm very excited, but cautiously optimistic with how sequels have been coming out, some not doing so great, and a very few doing great, phenomenal. Um, I just am excited just the fact that it's Toy Story. And yeah, I'm whether it gets good raging reviews or really bad dumpster reviews, I'm looking forward to sitting down and just watching it all the way through. Probably buying a couple physical copies too. But yeah, I'm excited.
Uh, who is like on your dream list to?
Oh wow. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast for sure. I've watched every single one of the interviews that he's done on podcasts. I've watched all of them at least once all the way through, and about half of them twice or more. I love the way that he thinks when it comes to the entrepreneurial mindset. I love his drive. I admire his work ethic. And I draw a lot of inspiration from someone so young that continues to push forward every single day. I would love to get to sit down with him, ask him some really cool technical questions, but also some really personal questions, and you know, kind of absorb that energy as well. And just yeah, it would be amazing to see somebody from um, who's all over the world via YouTube to just be, right across the table on the same line, the same video, different mic. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I always thought like once this got big enough that I'd love to like reach out to him. I'd probably get ignored, but to reach out, but I'm just like, man, I feel like I'll just be like any other person that's just like reaching out trying to get like money from him because that's just what I
Mm,
feel like because he's a super generous person through the podcast or his channel and different events and things. So it's like I feel like I couldn't even like ask like would you be willing to be a guest of the podcast? I
mm.
swear I want nothing in return. I just want to talk with you because it'd be fun to like get
Yeah,
that kind of one on one and get to know him better. Like I think he would be a great person to talk with.
yeah. And just a small little tip that I've learned: go for it anyway. Send the DM anyway. We sent a DM to Dayglow. He's one of my all-time favorite alternative mainstream artists, and we haven't been even read. And that's to be expected. But also, we've had some wins, like Emily Ricks. I sent her a DM and just crossed my fingers, and she said, "Yeah." And a lot of other people that I've thought, you know what, I don't even think I have a chance. I don't even think they'll give us the time of day. And I send the DM, and now they're on episodes of ours. And yeah, so you don't know
Oh,
until
for
you
sure.
shoot your shot.
Yeah, and I don't feel like you need to get. I do believe you need to get out of your comfort zone, and you do need to try. Worst case scenario, it's left unread, which in most cases is probably very understandable. And I can't like anyone that's trying to like build a podcast or content or anything like that. They can't take that personal
Right.
because I fully understand. Like I get it. Like I don't expect anyone to respond.
Hmm.
Um, the worst though is when you see that they opened it
Mm.
and they don't even be like, "No, thank you." Like,
Yeah.
look, when it's left unread, completely fine. I get that. When it's read, it's like to say no.
Yeah.
Like now, I just feel ghosted.
Yeah. I feel that. 100% I feel that.
So, where do you hope to see the future of the Raw Man podcast in, say, 2, 3 years?
In 2 to 3 years, I see ourselves traveling to many more artists, to many more conventions, and expanding to even having a small skit series, something that we're already kind of talking about and playing around with those ideas. We have some really cool, like small, short skits. We'd eventually like to make other sorts of more entertaining videos, more artsy videos. So having the podcast grow to a certain caliber that it umbrellas and spreads out so that we can be creative in other sorts of categories as well. So hopefully we can have this be full time, and we don't have to report to our jobs anymore. We can have that freedom, both time wise and financially, and just doing this with all that we have, with all the gusto within us. So yeah.
I like the idea of branching out and
Mhm.
the skits and things like that. To just kind of want to just kind of keep it fresh for you guys, like it's not the
Mhm.
same thing every single day. It's something new, and it's also just continually challenging yourself. Um, so that's really exciting.
Absolutely,
How
absolutely.
many episodes do you guys have now?
Oh my gosh, we must be on like episode 29 or 30 at this point. 29 or 30. It's so many, and I lose count very easily because from every long form episode we draw out anywhere between like 5 to 15 shorts clips that we post up on YouTube. So it feels like it's hundreds. I think YouTube technically says that we have like 200 videos, I think. 100 or 200, I can't even remember now. And like a million views overall. But yeah, I think in all, it's only about 30 full length episodes.
It's dope. Have
Yeah.
you seen this, like the growth of the podcast? Has that been pretty steady over the 2 3 years?
So yeah, it has been, now that we have learned a lot in regards to how to ingest and use the analytics over on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, how we can better cater to our audiences. So for the first, possibly, I looked at the analytics very recently. For about the first 3 quarters of the first year, we had very minimal growth. And then we started to make shorts clips, and that kind of boosted us up a little bit. But once we started paying attention, we realized we need to look at the other creators who are already up there, you could say, the bigger creators in our style format. Let's observe what they're doing and take what they're doing as a template for us. And that's where we have revolutionized our stylization of our shorts, of our long form content. However, still putting our own personal twist and remaining genuine to what we want to talk about. And when we started doing that, that which worked for them, it started to work for us. And all of a sudden, we were going from just a couple hundred, maybe breaking 1,000 views, and now we're hitting an average of like 20, 30,000 views on all of these per short. And yeah, just continuing to evolve has been the greatest factor in overall gain of viewership and subscribers and community.
Yeah. Would you say that'd be mostly due to consistency, like posting? Or have you figured
Yes.
out a different? How often you guys post?
So for our long form videos, we were posting one full length video once every 2 weeks, because we both work 12-hour shifts at our job. So we're working anywhere between 56 to 72 hours a week, and sometimes Sundays. So there's weeks that we have two, one, or no days off. However, since we went on a this huge haul when we traveled to Los Angeles, we traveled to Denver, and we just took 2 weeks off together to just create all of this content. Now we're doing all that we can to release on a weekly basis, whether that be a full length episode of ours or an interview, or some other form of series that we have going on. Um, and with our YouTube Shorts, we were previously posting Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Now, what our goal is to post every single day. And we've noticed that with the analytics, just posting every single day has given us dramatically increased results. So consistency is key. for sure.
Yeah, that's that's what I need to get. That's my next goal is is pretty much is try to get into the shorts game and
Mm-hmm.
reels and just like I just don't have that many episodes yet to
Mm-hmm.
like continuously pull because I don't want it to always be from like oh here's this person again, here's Moi again. So it's like trying to break it up and balance it, but also just trying to like give a little bit more of myself
Mm-hmm.
for people to get to know me a little bit more. Uh, but I'm one of those people, and like I love talking to people, but I don't know how to talk about myself very well. So like then I'm talking to a camera and no one there to no one to like respond back. It feels
Mm-hmm.
really weird for me to just go and ramble.
Right.
So I need to get over that
Yeah.
if I
I
want this to grow.
So I was in very similar shoes as you were.
Size
And
tens.
yeah, so size 10. Man, maybe not. I'm 8.5.
Ah.
But they call me Littlefoot. But I was in very, very similar situation as you are. And what really helped me out was when I realized like there's people who would send me DMs and compliment me on hey, I really like this video, or this topic that you talked about really helped me through X, Y, and Z. I started to look at the camera lens as a small little pocket where there are so many people just waiting on the other end to have a friend talk to them. So looking at the camera lens as you're being able to look through almost, what would you call that? Like the little peephole on your front door, and seeing your friends on that other side, you know? And when I started to do that, it felt a lot more natural, I felt a little bit more comfortable. And yeah, and so I definitely hope it works for you because I really enjoy listening to Waypoint stories. It's a cool conversation going back and forth. So you already got it, you know? Yeah.
I know, like I'm proud of what has been done so far, and I know eventually, like, uh, but then one of the next things want to work on is the backdrop,
Hmm.
because it's kind of boring and I feel like my place is nice. It's old, but it's nice. But I just want to make it a little bit more fancy when it comes
Hmm.
to presenting on video. And I know, and then all the equipment and stuff will slowly be upgraded in time. And so I'll get there, and I'll get.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not worried about it. I just need to. I need to get. I think there's like three people I need to reach back out to, and be like, "Hey, are you still interested in being a guest?" Because I want to kind of focus on the like some people's testimonies and
Hmm.
kind of get share the faith side of onto TikTok of the show.
Right.
Not that everyone has to be a Christian on there, like to be on
Hmm.
here. Like that's not the point. But I do want um, the hope of the gospel to be shared
Right.
often through it because I think the world definitely needs it.
Yeah.
And I think an awesome, easy way to have a conversation about that is talk about people's testimonies and share that with other people. So there's a couple of people I need to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's completely doable, completely possible. Whatever it is that you set your mind to, like I say always on the live streams, is if you can see it in your mind, believe it in your heart, and you're willing to put in the work, nothing can stop you. So yeah, I believe in you, 100%. Yeah.
To so is there anything else you would like to talk about in the podcast or anything you want us
I mean, for the podcast, we are just trying to continue to evolve in whatever way, shape, or form that we can, while still staying true to ourselves. And we found that to be a little bit difficult when it comes to the overall evolution, especially seeing like the algorithm. I, for a very long time, was trying to treat it like a math equation. where if you have this variable, then this variable, there must be this end variable. But now we've seen it as trying to see an organism that's growing and changing with time. And so you will never keep up per se, but you will always just get closer and closer to that chase. And yeah, I just really hope that we can continue to bring some awesome, amazing quality content to people. And just a small thing as well, like it doesn't take much to be a content creator, to be a podcaster, to be a music artist. Like I started just live streaming from a basic 11 Pro phone that I had. Um, and all it takes is just hitting the go live button. And even when nobody's watching, I for the first 3 months of my live streams, I saw a big fat zero there. The first 30 days, it was not great. It sucked. I'm not gonna lie to you. But after those first 30 days, and I really got frustrated, I realized I have to see for myself where I will be. So instead of seeing that big zero, I pretended that was a 10 or a 20 or a 30. And I started to talk in those live streams with nobody there, as if there was a community talking back and forth to me. And I was just yapping and yapping and yapping. And until I caught the attention of some people, one person I still remember very vividly came in and said, "Who are you talking to? I'm literally the only person here. There's no previous comments. Mine is the only one. What are you doing?" And instead of allowing that to get to me, I simply said, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude? How are you? Where are you coming from?" And just sparking conversation. So that definitely that consistency, that persistence, and the belief in self is super important. Like you don't have to be this special, pretty, perfect person. There's no such thing. It's just all about applying yourself and continuing to be coachable, teachable, and malleable before life. And I think what you're doing is really amazing, really awesome. Um, Allowing people to tell their stories because again, myself, I'm not special. I was an alcoholic and an addict for over 8 years. I even went homeless to a certain point. I lived in my car, picked food out of trash cans because I preferred to drink than to pay rent or to have a home. And seeing from where I used to be to now being sober and pursuing these dreams, it allowed me to open my eyes to inspire others as well, other people that are suffering, other people that possibly are in that same boat that I used to be in. And that's the power of social media. And I'm so grateful and so happy to have met you. We actually met on Anna's live. I don't remember what her last name is or whatever. Anna, and something like that, right? And then you and I, we just had basically our own separate conversation. And then we saw each other in Jade in a Car's live stream. So she's the gal that I've been following her journey for a long time, longer than I've been doing the podcast. And since she's been living in her car, trying to save up some money for land. Super cool, awesome human being, by the way. And yeah, the power of social media, man, just connecting you and I, us being able to tell our stories to hopefully inspire and give hope to other people out there, while also providing some really good quality and warm-hearted entertainment. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my little rant right there.
Yeah, I think my biggest goal for the podcast is just like authentic and like anything
Hmm.
that I post is not that I don't want to edit it and make it like good quality,
Hmm.
but I don't want to edit it to a point where it takes away from what it really is.
Right.
Like I'll smooth it out and make it nice for easier for people to see it. But it's never going to take away be like, hey, here's like this perfect slice of life that you see, but behind the camera is this mess. It's like it's going to be really me. It's going to be really me talking to people, and I'm not trying to be any anyone better than what I am. Like I'm human,
Mhm.
and I want to have real conversations with real people, and I want their stories to be told because there's so many people have such awesome stories. Like
Mhm.
I think I told you, like I'm trying to get Jade in a car on the podcast, and
Yeah.
she actually asked if she could be on it.
Wow. That's awesome.
Like she kind of made the comment. She's like, well, "If you ever want to guest," I'm like, "I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. I just didn't know how to ask because like I'm a nobody podcaster at the moment. Um,
Yeah.
like I have nothing to like. All the views are mostly going to be from your audience. So I emailed her, and then life just got super busy for her, so I haven't heard
Mhm.
back, and I don't know if it's something that like I waited. I think I've done like one follow up since me agreed to kind of be on the podcast that she would be on the podcast, and again she was just super busy. So I'm like, hey, no worries. When so I'm hoping she'll bring it up again at some point because I
Yeah.
really don't want to bring it up like a third time because I feel like that's being a little pushy. Um,
Oh,
but it's not like I. But that's just how my brain works. Like,
yeah.
so, um, but yeah, like she has such a cool story to
Mhm.
tell. Like the way she's been. I mean, now she's in a van, but like starting out in her
Mhm.
car and
The
just kind of
Honda
living this
Element.
the Honda Element and kind of
Yeah.
living in this way to get out of debt.
Hmm.
Um, and I would love to hear more of like her story of like how it got to that point where she's like, no, this seems like a great idea. Like what hit that limit, like that ceiling of like
Hmm.
I'm done. I have to change things.
Right. Right,
And
and
I
I
think
love that you reached out to her because we actually reached out to her too. We haven't heard back from her, but we reached out to her at like a not so great time. Yeah,
yeah,
we understand that one of her friends, very close friends, just passed, and right before that, she was getting a little bit busier than normal, and that's when we messaged her. So I hope she says yes to both of our podcasts. That would
hope
be
so.
so cool, twinsies. You know what I mean?
Just might as well keep it going.
Yeah, yeah,
uh, so funny story for those who are listening. So as Moy, you do your live streams and you bring in local musicians and stuff, but you also take in just like regular requests from people. It's just not as priority, which is awesome. Like I think that's the right way of doing it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to suggest like two completely random, not super big singers. And like, you follow that person too? I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm surprised you know. Like, I'm
yeah.
trying to get. I asked both of them, the two artists, if they would want to be on it. I haven't heard back from them, so I'm
Okay,
assuming probably not. But that's okay.
yeah. Or
But they
sometimes
would be.
they may
But they
be
would be awesome
busy.
to get on there too, like to hear their
Yeah.
stories.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of these artists also keep in mind sometimes our messages they fall into the request folder, not
Oh
into
yeah.
the main folder. And I've missed DMs because of that as well. My DMs, I think it always says 99 plus unread. Even though I finally just very recently I caught up to most of my DMs that are like podcast related, stream related, etc. Um, but yeah, just understanding that they can be a little bit busy, but also still sprinkling that idea in their direction because I know that even they may have forgotten, and they are also always looking for opportunities to grow and expand and to kind of throw themselves out there as artists and their music too. So yeah, I found that they've consistently been looking for just new, awesome, fresh ways to express themselves. And I think the podcast scene has been so reserved for big artists. We've seen that with like who is it? GQ who does uh Billie Eilish every year, right? And then there's a couple of other um, uh, big magazine titled um, podcasts and interviews that they do. It always seemed reserved for those people. But you and I, what we do in allowing that space, catering an environment for them to be able to express themselves is so underrated, but it is coming up. In my personal opinion, this will be the new mainstream, the new norm,
I
and
like
it's
to
just
think
about
that
yeah.
I like to think that you
Yes.
and I are probably not, but I want to say we are, and to say you guys heard it first. Before they're like, we've been doing that for like 8 years. Like, oh, yeah, we did it first.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's so many people that I would love to get on here, and a lot of them tend to be more singers, like local,
Mhm.
like smaller artists right now. Um, but they just have such a cool gift to share. So it's like,
Yeah,
why wouldn't you want to share that with people? And
exactly.
like even if like you bring in one more extra person for them
Mhm.
to bring into their like pass that gift to them, it's like, why wouldn't I want to help them out? Like I
Yeah,
enjoy the music, I want to share that.
yeah. Oh,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest things that we've been blessed with is we've been blessed with the opportunity and the ability to be able to travel. So we've traveled to Los Angeles, to Denver. I've gone to Nashville, Tennessee, to Lexington, Kentucky, to actually go talk to these artists and watch them perform, and sometimes even interview them. I know one of my favorite interviews that I did was Maggie Miles. We met up at a small coffee shop in Nashville when I found myself out there, and I said, "Hey, let's do it." In Los Angeles, we interviewed like Haley Hermida, super awesome alt rock singer who's comes from the famous influencer family called the Hermidas. Emily Ricks also in Los Angeles. We just released Halfway to Neptune from the Fontana area in California. We released their episode today. Yeah, so just moving in a direction where we were also just sticking to the video because that's what we could afford, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That's all that we could actually feasibly do. And now we've been blessed with the opportunity to meet them in person and to cater and foster in-person relationships has been just overall wonderful. And you get to really see these people for who they are in person. And it's just so heartwarming, man, to surround ourselves with people who are also on a same or similar trajectory that we are, that we just want to create this awesome content to the best of our ability. And hopefully that's all that we do, you know? So, yeah.
to bring this to the street.
Yeah.
Just kind of put it out there. I want to have like a set of like random questions that I ask the people. Uh, I need to get like a poll and try to figure out like for IQ, what is something you would want someone to ask you?
Hmm. Ooh, probably some of my favorites have just been like people yelling uh just random old vines or old memes, you know, where somebody's like, what was that one? One of my favorites is like, what's 9 plus 10? And then you just hand the microphone over to somebody else and like 21 and seeing if they know that trending sound, that old vine. That's when one of my favorites, but also kind of just asking people, hey, what song are you currently listening to? Because you'd be fascinated thinking like, oh my gosh, I've never heard this artist, and they're just casually just listening to them as they're passing by. Those sorts of questions, and then you can eventually, as you throw yourself more and more out there, um, kind of see where those questions lead you, and maybe those could then be leading questions. I know for us over at the Denver Fan Expo, the first year that we went last year, it was a little rocky for us to ask people certain questions. We had never come up with street questions before.
Yeah.
We'd never done street interviews. We did it that year, and then we learned from it. And that's how this time around, in July, we were a lot more better prepared. I was able to ask people, hey, what's your cosplay? Where are you coming from? And I already had this order. And, Lord willing, next year, Denver Fan Expo, I can kind of evolve those questions to, be still fun and still entertaining, but different, spice things up a bit.
Have you gone to a convention yet and see someone wear shirts or women wear shirts?
Not just yet. Not just yet. Aside from ourselves, not just yet. No sort of convention or expo of that nature. We've definitely gifted shirts out there, and they put them on in front of us, and that was really freaking cool. And we've gifted shirts to a lot of the artists that we've interviewed, and maybe, hopefully, one day we can see somebody wearing our merch, and I can just feel so proud in that moment that they actually resonate with what we create, so much so that they decided to not only purchase a shirt, but to wear it out in public. So yeah, it's pretty that'd be amazing to witness one day.
Yeah. But definitely let me know when.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You'll be one of the first to know. I assure you, Cody.
I think we're going to run out of time, so thank you so much for being sharing your story. Give us more.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have your links in there so people can find
Yeah.
you. And you post mostly on YouTube,
Mhm.
Spotify.
Yes, YouTube and Spotify for like our long form content, and TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat for our short form content, which tends to just be clips of our longer stuff.
Perfect. So people follow
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. We'll have to do it. Would you? Okay. Find out. Would you have any interest of doing like the Hot Ones interview show?
Yes.
Would you ever be willing to do a short video of like I don't know, like I don't know, like two truths and a lie, something like that?
Yeah, that'd be
Of
cool.
and doing something like that and create a smart like a short video with doing the wing challenge.
Yeah. Yeah,
If you like wings, do you like spicy food?
I do. And actually that coincides with what we're doing. We are purchasing you're beating us to the punch. We are filming a new Raw Bites episode on either Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember. And that will be dropping hopefully the week after, where we're going to imitate the Hot Ones. If we can't seem to get our hands on an official Hot Ones challenge sauce, then we're just gonna have to make up our own. But yeah, that kind of goes line in
See,
line.
there's a hot sauce people that you can follow. Let me try to send that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things. Not that big. But just be like, hey, we want to do this and we want to use your options.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that idea. I'm more than open to that.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
With that, like so this is the official goodbye. Uh, Until next time, guys, stay positive. Stay positive.
God bless.